Hello everyone, welcome back to the Power BI Design Blueprint course. In this video, we're going to understand what is Power BI, why you should learn Power BI, installing Power BI Desktop, Power BI Development Lifecycle. Okay, so let's start off with the very first point. What is Power BI? Power BI is basically a BI tool, business intelligence tool. What exactly is business intelligence tool? A business intelligence tool is a software application or platform that helps organizations to gather and analyze and visualize the data to make informed business decisions, right? So without a BI tool, the value of data you cannot, get in real time, right? So only with a proper BI tool, you can get the insights of the data that you have, right, accumulated over the past few years, right? These tools basically allow you to, transform raw data into actionable insights, right? We can, by enabling them to understand trends, patterns, and opportunities within their operations, like customer behavior and market dynamics, right? So without BI tool, we cannot, come up with the proper insights that you can take some, uh, uh, basically using BI tool, we can take a proper decisions to improvise your business, right? So a BI tool is must wherever you see a lot of data. Okay. So Power BI is one such tool. There are a lot of other tools in the market like Tableau, ClickView, Looker, etc. Right? Power BI is one of the BI tool. And also it's a data visualization tool. Power BI is a data visualization tool. Means you can create a graphical representation of the data. Right? The same data that you are seeing in the form of tables or in the form of records, you can convert that into a beautiful looking graphs and charts. And also we can create reports and dashboards. So usually using Power BI, we can create reports, Power BI reports and Power BI dashboards. A lot of people don't have this idea on the fourth point. So Power BI is also a data cleansing tool, basically. It's also called as an ETL tool. It's not a full-fledged ETL, but yes, it acts like an ETL tool because we can clean the data. We can basically remove the unwanted data. We can cleanse the data. And we can also use a lot of transformations to add new columns, new calculated columns, to come up with some custom columns, custom functions, right? We can remove unwanted data, we can generate new data, and finally load back into the Power BI data model. So basically it acts like an ETL, extract, transform, and load. Okay. And also we, as I told you, once we clean it up, we push it to the data model, Power BI data model. That's where data modeling tool. So Power BI is also data modeling tool. Data modeling is nothing but we can have a relationship between multiple tables, wherein, while building a Power BI report, if there are multiple tables in your, report, you can actually join them together with a proper relationships, right? Basically, it's like, having a common columns in multiple tables and joining them with a relationship. So that is what is the data model. So we'll understand more about the data model in the future sessions. Okay. So right now, the idea is to understand what is Power BI. So Power BI is basically a BI tool, a data visualization tool. It can be used to build reports and dashboards, a data cleansing tool, a data modeling tool. Okay. So now if we go to the next point, why you should learn Power BI. Okay. So there are quite a many points. So I've highlighted few points, as you can see. Let's go with point by point to understand why you should learn Power BI. Point number one, it is one of the hottest BI tool in the market. Like everybody knows by now. That's the reason you are here, right? It is one of the hottest BI tool in the market since past 3 years. It's like, topmost tool, topmost BI tool in the market when compared with other tools. Okay. And the second reason that you need to learn Power BI is there are a lot of job opportunities out there in the market. A lot of job opportunities. So Power BI is like a mandatory, right? Wherever you go, wherever you look at the data analyst job or you look at the business analyst job. So Power BI is becoming a mandatory tool. It's a very relevant tool people are learning. So there are a lot of job opportunities being generated in the market. The third point is it's easier for career transition and advancements, right? Because it's out in the market and it's also a bit easier when compared to the other BI tools. It's easier for you to learn this tool and have a career transition. Also, you can advance in your same career, right? So you're working in a company and you wanted to have a new tool. So maybe you are from a different background. You wanted to get onto then, learning on a new tool and get to the next level. Yes, Power BI is going to help you with that. Okay. Point number 4. It is also easy to learn when compared to other BI tools like Tableau, ClickView, and Looker. Okay. Point number 5, it's cheaper in price when compared to other BI tools. Hence, companies would love to invest on this tool. Okay. Basically, the Power BI Pro license costs $9.99, like $110 per month. Okay. So while the other tools like, Tableau, the Tableau, I think developer license itself costs like $70 per month. Yeah, we'll compare that in as we go in the Power BI licensing. Okay. So basically, when compared to the other BI tools, Power BI is a cheaper in the market. Okay. So point number 6, it is part of the Microsoft family. Everyone uses Excel, PowerPoint, Word, etc. Right? So everybody uses. This is a Microsoft product, Excel, PowerPoint, Word. In the same fashion, Power BI is going to be a daily driver, like just like Excel in the future. So, and again, it's a part of the Microsoft family. You are going to learn it like, easily. To be frank, it will be, you'll be very much familiar with the UI. So you must be aware of this Excel, PowerPoint, Word, UI, right? So the menu options and the ribbons and all. The same way, the Power BI menu and the ribbons will be more familiar to you because it is part of the Microsoft family. So that's where you're going to get that ease, or the comfort zone for learning a new tool. So basically, what happens when you start learning a new tool, it's like if you have a new UI and all, it will take some time for you to understand the UI and get just acquainted with that UI. But being a Microsoft family, this particular problem is not there for you. Okay. Point number 7, there are a lot of connectivity options. Basically, it can connect to wide range of data sources, and you know, uh, and also it's coming up with a lot of new features on a regular basis. That means using Power BI, you are able to plug into any data source in the market. So there, it is fulfilling the need of a BI tool where it is able to connect to every data source, right? So there it comes with a lot of demand then, like, if it is connecting to every data source, so definitely this BI tool is having a lot of edge when compared to the other BI tools, where other BI tools are kind of limited in terms of connectivity, right? Point number 8, Power BI releases new updates on monthly basis, while other BI tools take a minimum of 3 to 6 months for update releases. Means every month you are going to get a lot of new features along with any bug fixes if you have, which is awesome, right? So basically, it's like every month you're going to get a new update. Whereas other BI tools, if you take, basically they're like 3 months or 6 months. It will take some minimum of 3 months time to come up with some updates or any bug fixes, right? Point number 9. As per Gartner Magic Quadrant, Power BI is again leader in analytics. So what is this Gartner Magic Quadrant? Basically, it's one of the series of market research reports published by IT consulting firm. So basically, Gartner is an IT consulting firm. Usually, it does some survey on every year on these analytic tools, right? Basically, once they do the survey, they kind of release a report saying that, okay, this is what the trend in this year is. Okay, so basically, Power BI is again a leader. So it's been leader since past few years, and even in 2023 also we have it as a leader. You can go check this particular link. I'll just post that in the chat. You can just check it out and see like what exactly this link talks about. Okay, I want everyone to go through this link. Okay, and this read this article. Okay, so now you are very much clear like why you should learn Power BI. There are a lot of points here, right? So let us go back to let us go to the next point. So installing Power BI. All right, so let's go and understand how to install the Power BI desktop tool on Power BI for Windows, and there's Power BI for Mac. Okay, so we'll first go with the Power BI for Mac, because basically there is no direct installation options for Mac. Okay, people who are coming from Mac background, like you have a Mac laptop, sorry to say that we don't have a direct installation. Okay, however, we have an alternatives, but if you are paid, and one or two, basically, one is like, you have to install some virtual machine. Okay, so basically, as you can see, the paid versions, we have two things. Like one is parallels.com, and the other one is turbo.net. So the other two websites, it's kind of a paid. So you need to go there and you need to pay some amount, and you can check it out. Parallels.com and turbo.net. I think turbo.net is also kind of mentioning recently that for 5 users it is offering some free option. Just check it out. Okay. People who are coming from Mac background can check this out. So we're not showing this here. Okay. Right now we are on a Windows machine. Mac installation will be shown on the other course, not on this one. Okay. We'll talk about that as we go on. The free one. Let's look at the free one. Yeah, even the free demonstration is shown in detail in the other course. So basically, using a free version, you have to install a virtual machine on AWS, basically Amazon or Web Services, or also sometimes you have an option to install the virtual machine on Azure, right? Azure Online. So basically, Amazon Web Services is offering kind of 12 months of free virtual machine access where you can install and access it. So it's like you have to install a virtual machine and connect as a remote desktop from your Mac laptop. So that is the same thing. So again, the other option is like a remote machine. That means install and run Power BI on a PC, then use a remote viewer to control that PC. So this is no brainer. So I'm just giving that is another option that you can avail if you are using a Mac laptop. Okay. So again, there's something called install Windows on Mac using Bootcamp software. There's something called Bootcamp software. Basically, there are a few steps that we have to go through. Okay. So these are the steps that you need to go through to install Bootcamp Assistant on Mac, and then you can install Windows as well. But it requires you to restart your Mac every time you want to switch between Mac OS and Windows. That means at a time you can access one OS. So if you are wanting to use Power BI, you have to use it as a Windows on Mac, right? You cannot access on Mac OS and you access Power BI. No, so that's not there. That's not possible. So these are the options that we have for Mac. Okay. Then let's go back to the Power BI for Windows. Okay. So in this session, we are going to demonstrate Power BI for Windows. Okay. So basically, Power BI for Windows, we have Microsoft Store. We can actually directly download from Microsoft Store, or we can download an executable file. Okay. So I'll just show you how to do that. Just copy this, and let me just paste on the browser. Okay. As you can see, this is where you land in when you open up this link. So as you can see, there are a lot of tools here. You have to just go through this Microsoft Power BI desktop tool. Okay. Click on, there are two options like I mentioned. One is direct download option, one is advanced download options. Direct download options will allow you to directly download from the Microsoft Store. So when you click on this, you can see it is asking for you to navigate to the Microsoft Store, which I recommend everybody to do this. Okay. When you click on open, this will open up the Microsoft Store and navigate to the Power BI desktop tool where you can directly download and install the file. Okay. So by doing this, there's an advantage. So why I suggest everyone to do this is there's an advantage here. So when you install this from here, I'm installing it right away. So when we install it from here, it has automatically, have a monthly updates automatically gets updated, provided you have turned on your Windows updates, right? So every month, automatically a new update comes from Microsoft Power BI for Power BI. Automatically that gets updated. So every month you are going to be on a new version of Power BI desktop. Okay, you need not manually go and install it. Let's say if you go back to the second option, like for example, advanced download options. In this, basically, this is the downloading of .exe file. As you can see, it is navigating to this particular location where you can download a 64-bit version or a 32-bit version depending upon your machine, right? So if you're downloading the 64-bit version, so basically you need to download this 64-bit version, and once you download this, you have to install it. So that means every month you're going to come to this link and download this .exe file and repeat the process. Okay, that means you have a repetitive work to do. So I don't suggest people to use this. So basically, as you can see, we have two different options. Like one is 390 MB and the other one is 428 MB. Okay, so you can click on this download. It will automatically download an exe file. Okay, let's click on this. As you can see, we have two options. I can select which one because mine is a 64-bit version. I can use this option and click on download. So it automatically gets a .exe file downloaded, as you can see on the top. Yeah, this .exe file gets downloaded. So we are not going to install .exe file because we are already going the installation. The installation is being already done using Microsoft Store. I think it's already done, and now we can see There's an option to open it up. Click on open. This will open up your installed Power BI desktop. As you can see, this is how it looks like. Let me minimize this. Let me minimize this. Okay. I think this is the, because it's opening it for the first time. It's taking some time. As you can see, this is how the Power BI desktop looks once you have installed it on your machines. Okay. You can always uncheck this so that next time when you open up Power BI desktop tool, you will not see this particular pop-up. Okay, close this. All right, so now we have successfully installed this Power BI desktop tool. Congratulations, everyone. Let's go back to our mind map. Okay, so I think now everybody is good with installation of the Power BI desktop tool. Let me just minimize this. Now we'll come back to Power BI development lifecycle. Okay, so what is Power BI development lifecycle? Power BI development lifecycle is one of the crucial things that you need to learn. Okay, so coming back to Power BI development lifecycle, the entire report development process undergoes into 6 steps basically. Okay, so people categorize this into various steps. Some people club whatever 6 steps are mentioned into 3 steps, 4 steps. So they might club each and everything. But I've I've splitted them into 6 steps, and let's talk each one separately. Step 1. What is step 1? Getting data. So basically, step 1 is to get the data from the data source, like connecting to data sources, right? So basically, you can connect to n number of data sources. Like Power BI offers you to connect to various data sources. That is the step 1. And before we go on in detail on the step 1, we'll understand all of the other steps, and we'll come back to the step 1. And then we'll deep dive into step 1. Okay. What is step 2? Once you get the data, you have the data now, but your data might have a lot of unwanted information or unwanted data, or maybe there are a lot of issues with the data, a lot of null values, maybe the unstructured data, right? There might be so much so many other issues with your data. So in order to make it ready for reporting, you need to clean them first, right? You need to clean it properly, or remove the unwanted data, or remove the null values, or we have to make a proper structured data so that it easily reportable, right? You need to easily make a visualization of it, out of it. Okay. So for that, we can clean the data. We call it as a data cleansing part, or data transformations, right? So we use Power BI to clean the data, and also enhance the data or enrich the data to make it look good. So for that, we use various transformations. This step is called data cleaning and transformations. Here we use Power Query Editor basically. Okay, so we'll talk about it in detail, but yeah, this is the step 2 where you have to clean the data. We can also say that massaging the data to make it look proper. So once it is ready, like once the proper data is ready, we'll go to the step 3. What is step 3? Building a data model. Okay, creating relationships. Building a data model means creating a relationship between multiple tables. Okay, so what is building a data model? So when you have more than one table, right? So when you are dealing with more than one table, so there is a requirement for you to create a relationship between those 2 tables, or 3 tables, or 5 tables, 10 tables, right? Why? Because you wanted to infer the data, or infer the report. You have to build a report out of all those 4 5 tables. So without joining them, it would be like a without joining them, you cannot get a proper information, right? You should have a business relevant linking of those tables, which is called as a data model. So we'll understand more about the data model as we go on. Okay. The step 4 is called creating measures using DAX. So we have something called DAX in Power BI, which is used for writing formulas. Okay. We create a lot of measures. So we'll understand what are measures, what are calculated columns, how to write DAX as we go on to the step 4 in deep. But right now you need to understand this step 4 basically allows you to write some DAX formulas, like some logic to it, so that you can come up with some insights. Okay, quick insights. So basically it is highlighted in red because DAX is considered as heart of Power BI, which is very important part of the Power BI. Okay, so that's why I've highlighted it as red, in red color. Step 5, creating visualizations, building report. So this is the whole purpose of Power BI, right? So everybody who in general, like people who are not aware of Power BI, they're coming from a different background. Usually when they talk about Power BI, they think, okay, creating visualizations and building a report. So this is what they think, step 5. They don't have any idea about step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Okay. In fact, we spend most of the time in step 2. Step 3 also we spend like, uh, quite good amount of time depending on the number of tables that you have, right? And step 4 again spend very nice time depending on the requirement or the complex logic that you have. So these are very important. Step 2, step 3, step 4. These are the key steps. Step 5 is something which is a basic, like this is what people think about it. And this is the main purpose of a Power BI, right? We come up with some proper visualizations, building reports, right? Everybody knows of it. Step 6. So once the entire report is built, like in step 5, we're coming up with a proper report output. So once the report is ready, what do? You need to publish it to the cloud, right? Should be available on the internet, on the cloud, so that it can be shared with others. That is what is step 6. So basically, your entire Power BI development lifecycle is consolidated in these 6 steps. Hope everybody is clear with the 6 steps. Which step do you think the most important? Just comment in the below. Welcome back to the another video. In this video, we're going to understand what is the step 1 process of Power BI development lifecycle. Okay. So in the previous session, we have seen what is Power BI development lifecycle, and we have seen all the 6 steps, right? So let's dive into step 1 in detail. Okay. So what is step 1? Step 1 is connected to data source, right? Getting the data, basically. So where we have various connectors in Power BI desktop tool. We'll see that in a while. So basically, how do you connect to the data? So basically, we use an get data option in Power BI desktop, and in that we have various options like we have file type data connectors, we have database type data connectors, and recently Microsoft Fabric has been recently introduced, like in last month or so. It's in preview mode still. So we have Power Platform, we have Azure, we have online services and others. So we're going to have a demo and see what exactly we're going to have it. So I'm going to share this data sets that we are going to demo on, okay, in the chat. So you can just check that out in the below description, okay. So basically we're going to look into 3 different data sets here, right? So one is Excel, one is CST, one is Google Sheets, okay. We'll look into this each one of this, okay. So let me open up Power BI desktop tool. I hope everybody has installed Power BI desktop tool on your machine. So once you open this tool, it looks like this. So let me just maximize it. Okay. All right. So right now, as you can see, there's an option called get data. So everybody just go to this very first step. So your report building starts from this process. Okay. Getting the data, get data option on the top in the home ribbon. You can see the get data option, as you can see. Let me also highlight that here, this part, get data. Okay. Get data. So I can click on get data and see you are able to see the common data sources. These are the common data sources that we are using, like, basically they're the common predominantly used data sources, or it's like a quick data sources that we can directly pull it up, all this. But when you click on more, what happens? A proper, data connector gets opened. This is the main one. The same shortcuts that you have seen in the previously can also be accessed from here. So you have to open this because as an initial, because you are in the initial phase of learning. So I suggest you to click on more always and land in this pop-up and go through this so that you understand, okay, what are the other connectors and other connectors which are available. So you'll get some idea, brief idea. So basically this one thing called as all, as you can see, when you click on all, automatically you can see all these data sources, all of them together, like each and every connector that we have for Power BI, everything is available here. Okay. But again, the same data connectors, these are called data connectors. So we use these data connectors. By selecting these data connectors, we are able to connect to the respective data source. Okay. We'll see that in a while. So these are categorized into many things like file type. So when you go click on file, you can see Excel workbook, text, CSV file, XML, JSON, folder, PDF file, SharePoint. So these are all categorized into file type. Okay. Again, we have database type where you have all the databases. Like we can connect to SQL Server database, Access database, like SQL Server, Analysis Service database, Oracle database, right? IBM Netezza, a lot of other things. All the databases out there in the market are available here. And again, recently this has been introduced, Microsoft Fabric, which is for connecting to data marts, warehouses, lake houses. So there are a lot of things that we can do on Microsoft Fabric. Okay, people who are learning Microsoft Fabric, they have a very good idea about what is a warehouse, what is a lake house, how to create a data mart, right? All this. So Power Platform. Power Platform is something, again, it's kind of a Microsoft product where you can have a dataverse, data flows, like there's some Power BI data flows. It can connect to various applications like Power Apps, Power Automate, there are a lot of other tools. Okay. So we're going to understand that all in other sessions, right? So right now we are focusing on a, you know, a quick understanding of what is step one. Okay. We're not going in depth in this entire step one, because step one itself will take you a lot of time to understand, because there are a lot of other connectors out there. So then we have Azure related products, online services like a lot of online services, Google Analytics. As you can see, we have Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, Salesforce. So it can relate to n number of things, others. Okay. So these are all categorized. So what we're going to do is we're going to search for, we're going to connect it to 3 different data sources in this demonstration. So one is Excel file, one is CSV file, and the other one is Google Sheets. So everybody knows, like, we can have a Google Sheets, right? Google Cloud. So Google Drive, we have a Google Sheet. So we can connect to Google Sheet as well. So we're going to demo on those 3 things. So what we'll do, we'll search for Excel. So I suggest everyone to use this option, search option, and search for Excel. Okay. The same way you can search for CSV and Google Sheet. So let's first go with the first option, select Excel workbook and click on connect. So as soon as you do that, you are able to browse your file. So I'm going to go to the desktop. I'm going to search for this folder where I placed in my Excel files. In the step one folder, I've added this Excel folder, and there we have a sports warehouse dataset. Okay. I'm going to share all these datasets that we are going to discuss here in the description section, where you can download and replicate the same thing. Okay. Click on open. Select that file, click on open. As you can see, it is trying to establish a connection to the dataset, that Excel SX file, which is an Excel file. And once it establishes the connection, it is showing us, okay, that Excel sheet has got so many other things in that. For example, it has got 4 different sheets right there. Okay. So, and as you can see, there are 4 tables, table 1, table 1.3, table 1.6, table 1.7. So that means you can see there is some blue header like symbol for this, which are tables, whereas these are like sheets. So the difference between these 2 icons, as you can see, these are sheets, these are tables. So when do you see a table thing? Whenever people are working on Excel, they know whenever we add some data over there, and when you do Control T, right? So you can convert that Excel into a tabular format. So that's when you see that. So if you're not doing that, you don't see these tables. You can directly see the sheet. Okay. So the same data which is in these things can be converted into this. So right now, I suggest you to go with by default the sheets. Maybe we'll discuss more in detail which one should be used and why. Okay, I will use these 3, 4. Okay, we have 4 different tables in the Excel sheet. So people who wanted to understand what is in the Excel sheet, you can open up the Excel sheet which is shared in the description link, so that you will know what exactly we have in the Excel sheet. So we have these 4 tables in there. One is dim category. As you can see here, the preview is being shown in the Power BI itself. This is character, right? The dim customer, you have customer details. We have dim product, we have product details, and we have a fact, which is a fact sales table. So basically we have 4 tables: category table, customer table, product table, sales table. So I suggest you to click on transform data. Okay. Once you click on transform data, your data gets loaded onto your Power BI desktop. So basically, a new pop-up has come up. As you can see on the top, it's called as Power Query Editor. We'll talk about this on the second step. Okay. Right now, just focus on the tables that have been loaded here. As you can see, basically, this is a totally different window. As you can see, it's a different window overall. The Power BI desktop is already as it is, but when you click on transform data, automatically this has opened up a new window. So I suggest everyone to use the transform option instead of directly load option, because uh, transform option will take you to the second step. Okay. Step 1 is connected to data. Step 2 is connected to cleaning the data, right? Step 2 is what? data cleansing or data transformations. So we do all those data cleansing and data transformation using another tool called Power Query Editor. In fact, it's not another tool. It's another part of the Power BI desktop only. As you can see, it's a pop-up which just came over only when you clicked on transform data. So it's a Power Query Editor, which is embedded within Power BI desktop. Okay. So this is how you load the data from Excel file. So right now you have all the 4 tables in your Excel file. As you can see, you got all the data. We'll understand more in depth about all these things as we go on. So now the thing is to understand how to load the data from Excel file. So hope everybody is clear. Once you load the data, you have to click on close and apply. Just close and apply. And then this will automatically load the data back to the Power BI desktop. As you can see, it is taking some time and it loads the data. As you can see, the loading option is showing up here. And basically it is trying to have data loaded and try to create some automatic model. It creates automatical model is created automatically depending on the common keys available in the tables, right? And it's also loads the data back to the model. Yes, as you can see, the number of rows which are loaded from each table has been shown there. So now if you can go back to this data view, as you can see, there are 3 different views in Power BI desktop. One is a report view, the other one is table view, the other one is model view. So these are 3 different views in Power BI desktop. When you click on table view, you can see the table view is here. When you select each table, you can see the relevant table data. Now I've clicked on category table, dim category table, you can see the category data. Clicked on customers table, customers data. Sales table, sales data. Okay. So this is what the data looks like. So we are successfully able to load the data from Excel file. Hope everybody is clear till here. Now let us go to the second option of connecting the data to a CSV file. Okay, how do we do that? Again, the same thing. We are going to use get data, right? Click on CSV. People can directly use this quick shortcut which was given here. But since you are a beginner, I would suggest you to click on more and then search for CSV. Okay, click on CSV, select the CSV file and click on connect. So right now I have to go to the step 1 and search for the CSV file. So here there are 3 CSV files in my folder. I wanted to pick one CSV file. Maybe a first one, I'll go with the first one. So we have, it is showing me the preview of the data, right? So once you check the preview of the data, you can just click on transform data. Okay. It's just showing you the other information like what is the file origin, it's a comma delimiter file, data type detection, right? It is showing the preview based on the first 200 rows. Okay. So you can ignore all of that. You can just click on transform data, which will directly take you to the, instead you can also click on load, right? You can directly see. Earlier I showed you how to, when you click on transform data, what was happening? It was opening a Power Query editor where you can see the other pop-up. And again, then we have clicked on close and apply. But now let's go with the first option just to understand what happens, right? When you click on load, automatically it directly loads the data instead of we going to Power Query editor and then come here. Because Power Query editor is something related to step 2 that we are going to learn in the step 2. Okay. So we do a lot of data cleansing there. We do data transformations there. So that's why I always suggest you to click on transform data. But now we are demoing the connectivity to CSV files. That's fine. We don't have much to do there. So as you can see, a data table is loaded on the right side. Yeah. So how do you see the data from this? You have to go to the left side and click on the table view, which is a data view. Initially it was called data view. Now it is renamed to table view. Click on table view and you can select the relevant table and then you can see the data over there. So this is the CSV file data that we have loaded. Okay. So now we have successfully loaded data from Excel as well as CSV. Now we're going to see how to connect to Google Sheets. Okay. So we have a project progress data set on Google Sheets. So I'll be sharing that link. Okay. So let me just open up that quickly. I'll just bring that up quickly. I'll just so this is a project progress data set that we have. So basically, I'll be sharing this, data set with everyone. It's on Google Drive. So you can go to File, make sure you go to Share and click on Publish to Web. So this is called as Publish to Web option, where you are publishing the data that is present on the Google Drive, which is in the format of an Excel sheet on the Google Sheet to the web So basically you are making it available on the web. That is what is called as publish to web. So when you do that, you get a couple of options. Make sure this entire document is selected so that the entire document is being pushed to the web. And the web page, what we are seeing here, this option can be changed back to Microsoft Excel. So making sure that you are pushing Excel document to be available on web. So it's published now. And so as you can see, you can copy this link, Control C. I'm going back to my Power BI desktop tool. Going back to my Power BI desktop tool and going to click on, what is this? Get data, click on more. So for using this option, because we have published this to web, remember. So I'm going to use a common option called web. So there's something called web option, which we can connect data from web. So whichever data is on the, openly available on the web, we can connect the data. So for this, we use web here, click on connect. Okay. So I'm going to just paste that URL, which I copied, that web URL, right? Which I copied just now, Control V. As you can see, it's giving some information to this, like it's available on the public domain, or the format is XLSX format. And this is the open link, which is coming from the docs.google.com, right? When you click on OK, automatically it will try to retrieve the data, which is on the web, openly available, and gives us in a format. So as you can see, we have tabular format and sheet format. Like I mentioned earlier, whenever you convert a data which is presented in an Excel sheet in a tabular format using a Control T option, that is available as a special table underscore one. Okay. So let me just select any one of these so that I can see the preview of it. Okay. You can see the project name, project description, project type. This is the same data. So basically both the things represent the same thing. It depends on what you wanted to pick it up. So we'll discuss that in detail later. Select table one, maybe for here, or sheet one, whichever is okay with you. But select only one option. I'm going with the table one option. Click on transform data. As you can see, table one is loaded, and let me close this refresh option, which is shown by default, and your data is loaded here. So you can click on close and apply. Automatically, this data is available for your Power BI reporting. Okay. So the takeaway from this video is to understand how do we connect to Excel file, how do we connect to CSV file, how do we connect to Google Sheet. Then we publish that Google Sheet to a web, publish to web, right? So this is a takeaway. So don't focus on other options like why we are selecting a sheet or why we are selecting a table. That is not the goal of this particular video. That is all covered in separate sessions. Okay. So right now, the focus is to understand how do we connect to these three files. Okay. If you are able to successfully connect using these three files, that means you are good to go. Okay. Let's jump start with the second step in the next video. Everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to understand what is exactly the step 2. Okay. So in the previous video, we have seen what is step 1, connecting to data sources. And the step 2 is data cleansing and transformations, data cleaning and transformations. So basically, this is all about Power Query Editor. Okay, it's all about Power Query Editor. You have seen a pop-up coming up in the previous video, right? When we are trying to connect to different data sources, and when we clicked on transform that option, so automatically a new pop-up was coming up. That is what is Power Query Editor. So all our data cleaning and transformations will be applied on top of Power Query Editor. So let us jumpstart and understand what exactly is Power Query Editor, and we'll try to understand different options in Power Query Editor, and then we'll jump onto the demo. Okay. So let's go back to our Power BI desktop. So this is our Power BI desktop. So let me connect to a new file. So let me pick up an Excel file, connected to the desktop. I think I placed it in step 2. Yes. So basically, let me connect to a customers table, which is an Excel file. I'm also going to share this file so that you can also practice on the same file. So as you can see, we have only one sheet on that Excel file. Probably the sheet was not formatted as a table. That's where you're not able to see the extra table 1, right? So let me select that sheet 1. As you can see, we have the preview of the data being showing up here, right? So let me click on transform data. So as soon as you click on transform data, you observe that, there's a new pop-up coming up, which is a Power Query Editor. Okay. So this is where we spend a lot of time in the step 2. right? So this is the data that we are able to connect to our from our source, and once the data is here, we can actually change this data to our requirements, like whatever requirements you have. We can clean this data, we can remove the unwanted columns, we can delete everything which is not needed. So basically deleting here or doing anything here will not impact any data source. A lot of people might have this question. So whatever you do here, nothing will happen to the data source, because once you connect to data source in the step one and get your data here, so it's like we're just importing the data. It's like we're just importing a snapshot of the data from the source. That's it. So we're not directly connected there, so that whatever change you are doing, it is not impacting your data source. No, it's not impacting your data source. We are only doing the data changes in your Power BI desktop or your Power Query editor, but not to your data source. So remember this point. So let's understand more on what exactly is Power Query Editor. Power Query Editor is used to clean up the data, to transform the data, to change the columns, to modify the columns, to create new columns, right? So I can see a lot of options here. You can see the ribbon which is available on the top, right? This is called home ribbon. We have a lot of options here. We can keep rows, remove rows, we can split the columns. There are a lot of options available. We can apply a lot of transformations, as you can see on the top. We can create new columns, conditional columns. We can generate new columns. We can format the data. So a lot of things are available. So all these things can be, done using Power Query Editor. Okay. So the whatever you do, one more important thing that you need to observe in the Power Query Editor is whatever changes you do. Let's say, let me do some changes. Okay. So as soon as I imported the data, there is something happening. Like, so what happens is, right, when you import the data, whatever first step, second step, third step is happening, everything is being recorded here in terms of steps. As you can see on the right side, there is something called as applied steps. If you can notice this is applied steps. So what is happening here is basically it is actually recording everything. So the very first step was like connecting to your source, right? The second step is it is navigated to a specific sheet, and then what happened is it has promoted the address. Basically, our data has column names, but how does the Power BI desktop or Power Query editor knows those are column headers, right? Unless or until we define it as in a table format. No. So basically, it is identified the data and promoted headers. So this is automatically taken care. But what happened is it is given a promotion to the very first row, which were actually the names of the columns. Okay. And then what happened? The other important step was also been taken care. So this is very important because you have to make sure whatever column you have bought in here is a proper type, data type. Okay. So this is also most of the time the Power BI is, basically taking care. So I'll explain you what exactly are these two. So let's say before I explain those things, I'll tell you what exactly is this applied steps again. So let's say I'm doing some more action on this data set. Let's say I'm only interested in some part of the data where is geography key. Let's say I'm just interested in, let's say, geography key is to rather I would say, let me go with something else. Okay. So maybe the English education bachelor's degree. You can see high school, partial, college. So maybe I'm interested in only the people who are from bachelor's degree. So I can filter it out, just selecting the bachelor's degree. So whatever you just did is being recorded here on the right side. Can you see? Filtered rows. So filtered rows code, you can see internally a code is being generated, which is called as M code. Okay. Which is also called as a mashup language, or, M code, M query. We have different namings for that. So basically that M code, basically you can see bachelor's filter has been applied and that step is being recorded. So that means whatever you do is everything is recorded in terms of steps. Okay. So that is what is this applied steps talks about. Okay. This applied steps basically talks about the recorded steps. So you keep on doing something, everything is being recorded here. Okay. That's the important thing to understand. And also you can always go back in time here. Like in say, we can delete this. You can see now we got all the education, and you can see you can change the type. So initially what happens is like this is automatically taken care for most of the options. But let's see if it is not done. So your duty is to basically scan through the entire columns, right? Say you have a lot of columns, but this just ideally Power BI has become very intelligent that it automatically scanning the entire table and converting all the columns into a proper data type. So right now, if it was not doing, this was a manual step. In fact, you have to manually check again, even though it is doing it automatically. You have to double check always, because it is always good to double check if the column type is right or wrong. So what I mean is, exactly, if you can see the very first column, it is stating that ABC 123. You can see everything is ABC 123, ABC 123. So when you select this part here on the ABC 123, you get all the data types here. Okay. So basically, this data type is something which you have to define it. So let's say this is a customer key column. So usually the customer key column is a number. So I need to identify it as a number like 123. When you click on this, automatically this will be converted. You can see a change type step has been created. It's saying customer key is converted to int type, int64 type. So internally, what happened? We have changed the data type to 123, which is a whole number, right? So basically, similarly, everything should have been done from our end. Like, let's say first name. First name is a text. So basically, you can go to this ABC and click on ABC text. Now we have converted that. So the same change type, it's multiple, queries. What do you say? Multiple steps in the same query is being updated. Like first name is converted to text. So basically, the M code being written on the back end is being updated with whatever things that we are doing here. Okay. So this is a very crucial step of identifying the data type of a columns, whichever table you are pulling in. Okay. So one more thing that you need to understand is this entire steps, like although these are 4 steps, right? These 4 steps, as you can see here, these 4 steps are also being recorded, right? So these 4 steps at one go also you can look at it using advanced editor. That means all that M script or M query that you have done so far, like automatically, which is generated at the backend, you can view it at one go here. Okay, so what is happening here? First step was sourcing the file from particular path and then getting that sheet from that particular Excel sheet, and then promoting the headers, and then changing the type that we have done, customer key and first name, right? So whatever you're doing, everything is being recorded in terms of a code. So in fact, we are not writing this code. Okay, don't need to worry. We're not writing this code. This is automatically being generated. The machine is writing on the back end and it is being saved here. Okay. So it is just that we are able to see that. And in case if we have bits and pieces of knowledge, we can even modify that. So we are going to learn about it as we go on further on these sessions. Okay. So right now you need to understand we have an option to see what is the code internally written so far, and you can see there are a lot of steps being automatically applied, right? And also you can see there is the queries, right? On the left side you can see sheet 1, which is a table name. It's a query here. Once you pull that table here, that is termed as query. So you can give it a name. For example, it's a customers table, right? You can give it a name and that name will reflect on the queries pane. Okay. So there are a lot of other options. We're not going in deep in this Power Query Editor, but the idea is to understand what exactly is Power Query Editor and how, we do the changes here. Like a lot of changes that we can do here. Okay. So now we'll look into some demo. Like we'll use some transformations. We'll try to, apply some data transformations on the Power Query Editor. Okay. So let us go with the same example first. Let's say, let me delete this and I'll show you again. So what happened? So I'll just go back to the previous step and see what might have happened. So it has went back to this particular table and this automatically imported the data. You can see again the 4 steps have come in. So this is automatically done. I didn't do anything. I just clicked on the table and all those 4 steps were automatically done from the Power BI or Power Query Editor. Okay. Right now, why I have done this? Because I have deleted it previously, which I wanted to get back all those changes, because I don't want to manually do for all the columns, because there were so many columns. As you can see, the 30 columns, you can actually see that here in the bottom, right? 30 columns and more than 1,000 rows, right? You can see that. So I'm going to apply some transformation. So that's the reason I wanted to get back the data in the specific format. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through the email ID column. Okay, there's something called email address, right? Email address. So here I wanted to separate username. So there's the email address, but I wanted to get only the username. Like username is the first part, which is before @ symbol, right? So I just wanted username. So what I can do is basically I can get the username by using some transformation. So there's some transformation called extract or split. So basically we can split by delimiter. So splitting by delimiter, there are a lot of ways. Basically, it's not a single way that we can use it. There are multiple ways to do that. Okay. We can just extract something before delimiter or, So what I'm going to do is maybe I wanted to split this column. So basically I can use this split column transformation option, and then I can select it by delimiter. What it does is it gives me a pop-up and asks me to select what is the delimiter that you wanted to select. So automatically you can see @ has been picked up. So it scanned the data and it identified, okay, your data consists of @ symbol. So automatically it is picking it up. So I didn't even give that option basically. It automatically picked up. Okay. So it is saying, okay, you wanted to split this column, right? But how do you want to split? Is it like leftmost delimiter or rightmost delimiter or each occurrence of the delimiter? So I'm pretty much sure my email address column is having only one delimiter because it's all email addresses. So each occurrence of the delimiter should be fine, or leftmost should be fine. Anything should be working fine. So I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm going to click on it. Okay. What happens is that the same email address column is now split into two columns. One is email address .1 and one is email address .2. So as you can see, the @ symbol has gone now and only the username part is there. And the other part after the @ symbol is still there. Okay. Which is domain.com, right? Domain name.com. So basically by doing this, what happened? You are able to get the usernames. You can rename this to usernames, right? Got all the usernames. This is one transformation that I have shown you an example. We can do a lot of such transformations and a lot of changes to our data. We can convert our data into different formats. Okay. So now let's say for some reason I wanted to change this domain name. Let's say I don't want adventure-works to be there. Maybe I'm interested to change that name to santoshpotnath.com. Okay. Maybe I can select this column and there's an option called replace values. So I can search for a value. So I can say adventure. I can just type in, I wanted to replace this entire thing. Sorry, I don't want to change the .com. I want to keep the .com as it is. Only the adventure-works to santoshpotnath.com. So when you click on OK, you'll see automatically the entire value has been replaced. So this is one of the transformation. Okay. So now I can go and show on a lot of things. So we'll keep it minimum so that we can basically understand what is Power Query Editor. And we can also see one more example. Let's say we wanted to write a conditional column. Let's say that we can go to add column. We wanted to write some conditional column. So maybe we wanted to keep it something like, let us go through some column and see what we can come up with. So maybe there's a gender column or a marital status column. Okay. So I wanted to write a conditional column instead of M as married means M, yes means single, right? So instead of M as I wanted to have it the abbreviation, maybe M means married. So I can select that particular column. I'm using a conditional column here. Click on conditional column. And once you select that, you can just go to that marital status column. And we can say marital status is equals to M. Then I wanted to call it as married. And I can add else statement. Else if marital status is equal to, yes, I'm saying single. If nothing is there, I can say not applicable maybe. Yeah. And click on OK. So you can see a new column is generated now. You can see the custom column that we've just created. It is saying instead of M, it is saying married. Instead of yes, it's saying single. You can say new marital status. So basically, this helps you to create a new column. So right now, what I've done is I've just created a new conditional column. Okay. Everyone, welcome back. In this video, we're going to understand what is step 3. So step 3 is basically building a data model, creating relationships. So basically, what is a data model? Well, data model is nothing but creating a relationship between multiple tables. So whenever you are dealing with multiple tables in your report, so you might create relationship between those 2 tables or 3 tables, depending on your requirement, or depending on the business requirement. So you need to understand the business, and then accordingly, using the common columns, you need to come up with some common relationship. Okay. So when you define the relationships, the output that you are going to show in your front end or your report, right? So you wanted to bring some insights between those 2, 3, 4 tables into one single table or one visual. So then the output will be a meaningful output. Otherwise, it will not be a meaningful output. So that is very important to define a proper relationship or define a proper data model. So let's jump and understand with a demo so that you'll get a better understanding of what exactly is the data model. So let me jump and bring in the data set. So let me go and use the Excel shortcut and use step 3. I'll use sports warehouse datasets. We have a sports warehouse dataset where we have multiple tables in that Excel sheet. So as you can see, let me just wait for the pop-up to show up. As you can see, I'm going to pull 4 different sheets here: DIM category, DIM customer, DIM product, and factor sales. So all these we have 4 tables in here. Click on transform data. So once the step 1 is completed, we have to always go to step 2, right? So that we have to remove any unwanted data that we have, or we have to make sure all the columns are properly, had a right data type, right? You can scan through. So by looking at this symbol, right, the date symbol, so that means there's a proper date is selected here. So if it was nothing is selected, basically what happens, you see both ABC and 1, 2, 3 together. But you can see all of them are properly aligned, as you can see on the right. Yeah. So I'm going to just click on close and apply so that this data is going to come in here. So while doing that, just focus on something like, it will show up some pop-up where it will automatically identify the relationship between these tables. I'll tell you why. Because Power BI is doing a lot of automation. So automatically it is trying to read the table, trying to see if there are any common columns in the different tables. So if you are making sure your different tables have common columns with the same column name, right? Especially we have the same column name, automatically it will try to join them, making sure that the data again is the same. It is also scanning the names as well as the data. So let me go back to the data model. Yeah, view. As you can see, automatically some model has been created. Can you see this? So why it is created is basically, you can see this is a common column is category ID, category ID. Yeah, you have a customer ID, and product ID, product ID. That means if you go back and understand our tables, right? We have 4 tables. 3 tables are dimension tables, 1 is fact table. Okay, so look at the dimension tables. So what is a dimension table? Dimension table is nothing but whichever table has some information about some entity or any information about a thing. uh, it need not be metrics, or it need not be KPIs, or it need not be any granular data. It's just information about some employee, information about some category. As you can see in this case, it's just holding some information. So this is information about customer. So customer name is there. You can have customer phone number, customer's address, etc. So all about customers. So that can be also your DIM table. That means dimension table. So information about any specific thing is dimension table. So what is a fact table? Again, fact table is a granular data. So wherever you have a granular data or a transactional information, let's say you are this is basically, it says sales table, right? Fact sales table. So it is having a sale information. So on January 1st, what was the sale done on a specific category ID by a specific customer, by a specific product, for a specific product, right? How much sales was done? One quantity. How much sales it's generated? 62,3200 gross sales. So basically, it is giving you the transactional information wherein you are able to understand the granular level of the data. So it's a transaction. Each and every transaction is recorded in your fact table. Okay. Again, the intelligent way to store the information is that you can see the customer information is also available in this fact table, but it is not in a customer name as such, but it is having a key, common key, so that we are able to pull the customer information using this key. For example, if you need customer information in this table, or if you need to show up somewhere, you can use this customer ID 3 key and join the customer 3 to this particular 3 and get this information. Right? If you have its phone number, address, etc., all that information can be pulled in using this common key. Okay, so basically the tables are categorized into dimension tables and the fact tables. Okay, so fact tables will have a granular data. So how do you identify a fact table? Fact table can be identified, using some of the columns, especially the KPIs, or especially the metrics you can call. So whenever you see the sales information, how much amount information, or the number of transactions or number of items sold, the count, right? The number of items sold, all that information, the numeric information, if you see, again, people might say, Santosh, this is also a numeric information, right? Customer ID. So these are IDs. So do not go with that. These are IDs. So do not, these are IDs. Do not go with that. This is also numerical information. But if you look at these, look at this numerical information, these three are having some different things. These are sales count. These are number of sales done, like 1, 2, 3, or this is the total sales information, like net sales. How much is the price, right? So basically, you can see these are the different. So when you look at these values and these values, these are different. So you need to identify the columns which have this kind of information in a table. So that is more likely to be your fact table. Okay. So usually, if you look at dimension tables, you don't find such information. Okay, all that KPI or metric information. So that metric or KPI information will be always available in your fact table. Okay. So now we have some idea on what exactly is dimensions table and what is a fact table. So basically what happens is you need to define a relationship between fact table versus dimension table in a specific way. So basically your fact table is going to sit in the center and the dimension table is going to surround it. You can see as in this case. Okay. So that usually looks like a star, right? So that's why people, they have termed it as a star schema. So in a data model, there's a concept called star schema, right? So we'll talk about in detail, in depth in further sessions. But right now in this blueprint course, we're going to highlight what is a data model, what is basically used here. We're not going to jump into a lot of details to it, but the higher quick details that we can have it. Okay. So the basically it uses a star schema where you have a fact table at the center and it is surrounded with the dimension tables, like in this case. So as you can see, the dimension table is joined with the fact table using a common ID called customer ID. And again, this dimension product table is joined with the fact table with the common ID called product ID. Again, the same thing with category table. So basically, we have made this fact table in the center and the other tables surrounded by it. Okay. So this is a star schema. So basically, this is how the relationship was generated automatically because the names, the data types, and everything was properly defined. Power BI was able to automatically pick it up. But I suggest you not to rely on this automatic picking up of the data model. You have to make sure you understand the business, you understand the business requirement or a table structure, and then make sure the joins which are automatically pulled it up, you double check if these are properly aligned or not, okay, or as per the business requirement. So we're not going to go in details much. So this is the higher understanding of the data model. Okay. So again, there would be a question coming here. Let's say if we go back to the other data set, let's say we have another data set. Okay, we have a single data set. Let's say if you have a project progress data set. So here we have only one sheet. So we get only one table. So whenever you have one table, there's no need of any data model out there, right? Because only the data model comes into picture when there is more than one table. So that is one thing you have to remember. So if you look at this project progress data set, here we have only one sheet, which is consolidated information in one single table. So we could call it as a consolidated table rather. So this is not split into multiple tables like dimension tables or fact tables, because you have all the information together, like all this dimensions information or whatever the project cost, the numbers, the metrics that I was talking about, right, which you would generally have in the fact table. So everything is one table. So this is a consolidated table that we have. So don't get confused and don't get too much into the terminologies. Just take it slow and steady. So as you progress in this journey, you'll be able to understand what exactly is fact or how dimensions working, how you need to convert. Sometimes you need to just split the table into multiple tables. So you'll learn all that as you go on. Okay. So we'll close this data model here and let's catch up in the next video. Thank you all for watching this video. Welcome everyone. In this video, we're going to understand what exactly is the step 4. As we know, step 4 is all about writing DAX. So DAX is a kind of a programming language for Power BI, where we use DAX to write some formulas. So basically DAX is nothing but data analysis expressions. So we write some small expressions in terms of small code where we are able to calculate some metrics or some kind of calculations to make our analysis easy. Okay. So basically, while writing DAX, we create measures, we create calculated columns, we create tables. So using DAX, we can create these three. One is measure, calculated column, and table. And these are the things that we can create on top of the Power BI report. So as we are done with step 3, now we have to jump into step 4 to make sure we are coming up with some proper measures or calculated columns or some tables, whichever will ease up our data analysis. Okay. Sometimes we don't have the direct way to do analysis. We have to do some complex calculations. In that case, we need to use DAX. Okay. So we will learn more about DAX in a demo. So I'll just directly jump into the demo. Let me open up a Power BI desktop file. So basically, let me import Excel workbook or an Excel file, a sample Excel file, project progress dataset. We'll write some basic DAX formulas. Okay. Let me just directly import this table and directly load. So just to make sure you understand what exactly the DAX does, let me just give another example so that you understand it a bit better. Let's say I wanted to analyze some data. Maybe I wanted to pull up some data based upon some department. Yeah, there's a department in our data. And there is a project cost. So if you go back and look at the data and understand what exactly we have. So I'm going to look specifically for a department. As you can see, we have a department column which has different values like e-commerce, marketing, PR, sales. And we have some project benefit is one kind of a metric, or a project cost, right? It's kind of a metric. So wanted to just see what is the department wise cost. So as you can see here, it's a granular data that you have, a transactional data for each project type, for each project manager, for each region, for each department, what is the cost. But I wanted to understand what is the overall cost for sales, overall cost for e-commerce and all. So that I will have to go back and just drag in. So I've already dragged this department column. Now I'm going to drag this project cost here in this table. Now you can see automatically the data has been summed up for each category. That means each department, this is the total project cost. So what happened here is, if you observe the project cost that is coming from the table, it has a sigma symbol. If you can see, notice that it has a sigma symbol. And also there are some couple of other things. It has a sigma symbol, right? The symbol. And also we got project benefit. So what exactly is the sigma symbol is? It is identifying that as a numbered column. That means either it is a decimal or a whole number data type, right? So it is understanding, okay, this is a numbered column, so that I can either sum it up, either count, right? Either, do some aggregation basically. So it understands that and it is giving a sigma. So as soon as I drag this column here, what happened? Automatically it's saying sum of. Okay. So if you can notice, if you expand this here, you can see it is showing that it is applied sum. Okay. It could have applied average. I can change that. Okay, let's say if I wanted to apply that as average, yes, it will change it to average. You can see now the value will change. This is giving me the average project cost for each department. This is the average project cost. Okay. So this can be changed. So this is an automatically given provision. So basically this provision has been given by the Power BI so that you can take the advantage of that. But once you learn DAX, what you do is you don't rely on this thing. You do the same calculation by writing an additional formula. So how do you write a DAX formula? You have to go to these 3 dots here, click on 3 dots, create a new measure. Okay. So when I create a new measure, you get this formula bar on the top here, where you can give it a name. So let me name it as a total project cost. Okay. Is equal to. Now what you can do is you can write some DAX formulas. There are a lot of formulas, a lot of DAX formulas. So let me write sum. Okay. As you can see, as soon as I typed sum, it is giving me some suggestions saying that, okay, do you want to go with summarize, sum x, summarize columns, or sum? So I want to go with sum. And as soon as you click that, it's showing the syntax as well. Say, okay, all you need to pass is a column name. It's saying that what it does, it adds all the numbers in a column. So basically it is giving you the, suggestion for picking up the right formula. Also, it is giving you the syntax. So all you need to do is pass the column name. So I wanted to pass the column name called project cost. Just select that column. And whenever you pass a column, automatically the table name will also go along with that, so that it is rightly identified with that particular table. Because when you have too many tables in the data, so that time it will be very useful. Okay. So what I've done is I've just written a simple DAX formula here using some function. Some is a function name, and I picked up this project cost, and I'm I'm clicking on this commit. This tick mark is called commit. So as soon as I click here, automatically you notice here on the right side, a new measure is created called total project cost. Okay, a new measure is created here. If you will notice this one, total project cost, and as you can see, this is a calculator symbol. This is a calculator symbol. So this is nothing but a measure. We have successfully created a simple measure. So now instead of this, I can delete this because now I know DAX, right? So I can directly use the DAX function to achieve that. So it is getting the same output, but the right way is to do is using the DAX function. Okay, because we have the provision of using the DAX. DAX makes the calculation bit faster at the back end. Basically, if you go and understand how the performance is impacted, how the back end works, like there's some engine aggregation engine gets activated. So a lot of the technical terms are there. We're not going into all of that at the moment. Okay, so all you need to understand is DAX will allow you to make the calculations much faster. Okay, so the best part of Power BI is DAX. So a lot of people don't tell you about DAX. DAX is one of the key things in Power BI, especially we call it as a heart of Power BI. And to be frank, DAX is basically kind of complex thing among all the elements in Power BI. So basically, using for understanding or mastering the DAX, you need to give a lot of time and a lot of practice as well. So with time and practice, you can become an expert in DAX. Okay. So I'm going to go with the other example. So now we have calculated this measure. Let me also give you an example to calculate a calculated column. So the same way how you have created a measure, you can go to this option and create a new column. This is nothing but calculated column. So earlier it was termed as calculated column. Now they've termed it as a new column. Okay. So it is also called as a calculated column. So I'm going to calculate a new column. So let me say calculated column example. So let's try something. So calculated column is bit different than measure. I'll tell you what exactly is the difference. So majority of the times it is used like this. Let me say I wanted to calculate something from the department. Maybe I wanted to check if the department is equal to e-commerce, right? Then I say e-com business. Else, this is the else statement. I'd say other businesses. Okay. So all I wanted to do is just give two category breakups that I can, give it up. So what I've done is you can notice again, just like I mentioned, you can notice this is now the symbol is a bit different, this part, right? The symbol is a bit different. It shows a bit different symbol. It's a calculated column symbol, and this is a measure symbol. So you need to understand that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use some slicer, right? And just drag this calculated column here. And as you can see, e-com business and other business. So this will help me, for example, I've used a slicer visual. So if I select e-com business, it will just filter automatically the e-commerce because I know what exactly the formula is. If I click other businesses, other three will come. So this is a calculated column I've just created. And the difference between a measure and a calculated column is, if you notice this table, right? This is the table that we have it. So if you notice, when you click on total project costs as a measure, you don't find that in the table. If you look at the total project cost, the measure that we have created, you cannot find that in the table because that is not created as a part of the table. It just calculates the value dynamically on the fly whenever we drag it onto the visual on the reporting page, right? On the reporting canvas. Whereas the calculated column sits along with the table as a new column. So it takes up some space, it takes up some memory, right? It is along with the table itself. If you notice, this is a new calculated column that we have created, and we have all those two values here. It's sitting along with the table itself as a new column, whereas project cost doesn't exist there. Okay. Hope everybody understood the difference between a calculated column and a measure. And we will be learning more about all this. Like, we will be deep diving into all of these things in later sessions, like I mentioned earlier. For this blueprint course, I think this basic understanding of this is enough to give a kickstart for Power BI, because I want everyone to give a kickstart and slowly jump to the complex areas, or slowly go deeper into the concepts. All right. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Let's catch up in the next video. Welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to discuss about step 5. Step 5 is all about creating visualizations, building report, right? So basically, this is where everybody is interested in, right? To showcase our final report or final output or final visualization, right? So basically, this is the most creative part of the Power BI. So you can be as creative as possible. You can add as color to it. Like, the more creative you are, the more beautiful your report is going to look like. Okay. So we're going to work on a sample report building activity now. So for the practice, I'm going to build 2 reports so that you can just replicate the same thing. And once you build those 2 reports, you'll get a very good, feel, or, confidence that you are able to build a proper Power BI report. Okay. So let us start off with the importance of visualization. Okay. Let me just open up a fresh Power BI desktop. So now you have built, you connected to data and you cleaned it up, you build a model, you have created some DAX formulas, and you're ready to go to showcase your output or the data that you are going to analyze to showcase to the audience or the person that you is interested in, or your customer, your client, right? So it should convey the information. So basically, the main purpose of a visualization is it should easily convey the information of the data that you are showcasing there. Okay. Sometimes people use too fancy visualizations, which is, kind of confusing for the client. So maybe for testing, or maybe while you are practicing something, you could use all these fancy visualizations, but we have to try to keep it very simple. Okay. The fonts, the colors, all right, that should be very simple, so that people at one glance they should be able to come up with, okay, what are the insights. Okay, so let's go back to our Power BI desktop and let us build a sample report so that you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. So while building the report, there are a few things that you need to learn. I will be showcasing all those things while we build on this process. So just go along with me and try to implement the same thing. Okay. So we're going to use the dataset which was shared with you earlier on the project progress dashboard, like project progress dataset, right? So I'm going to use the same one, which was also in the same Google sheet as well as an Excel format. So I'm going to pull the Excel format one. So this dataset will be shared in the description below. You can also download and just follow along with me. So I'm going to pull the same table, right? I'm going to just click on load, because there's not much to apply a transformations here. You can directly click on load. Yeah, I'm just clicking on load so that your report building process is a bit faster, because there's only one table. There's no need of data model. There are not too many tables and we need to go to data model. So this is the first example that we are taking in. The second example, we have some 3 or 4 tables where we can build a small data model. Okay. So let me just continue with this. So right now I bought my data, my table, and everything is ready. You can also rename your table to a proper naming. Like, you can just rename it here. Just quickly rename. So project progress data. Okay. Now I wanted to build a proper visualization. Okay. So maybe wanted to change the background. You can see this is a plain canvas that we have. So I can click anywhere in the middle. So, and you can see on the right side, you have a option called format your report page, this particular section. Okay. So just focus on this particular section and click on this. You'll be able to see these options. So you have to go to the specific option called canvas background. Okay, you can go with canvas background or wallpaper, whichever is fine. Both the things does the same thing. So let me go with the canvas background, and maybe I wanted to change it to some color. Maybe I want my report to be in specific color. Maybe I wanted to go with some darker background. Okay, so I've added the darker background, but I don't see the background color coming up because the transparency level that you see here is set to 100%. So I need to change the transparency level to whatever percentage. Let's say, let me make it 0 and see. You can see the dark color is coming. Okay, so we can change it to some 75% depending on your comfort zone. So let me keep it this way. Now I wanted to add a header. Maybe I wanted to add a title holder place. So for that, I wanted to add a frame like structure. Maybe I would wanted to add some uh, shape. So I go to insert, I go to shapes and select some rectangle shape. As you can see, I've added a shape. So I wanted to add something from the corner top left side and just drag it here. So I wanted to keep this space for my logo. Wanted to give a logo here, maybe title here, and also a couple of slices here to slice and dice my report. Yes. So this is kind of that section. So I wanted to give it a color instead of this regular whatever default color it has come up with. So let me just change this color. Shape. I think it's under the style. Yes, this fill color. I want to change this fill color to maybe closer to this because I've used this dark color, dark blue, right? I wanted to make it similar style color. Maybe I'll use a lighter color on this same shade. Okay, because this goes well along that colors, right? So we need to be very careful using the color codes. You can do some research on Google to use some specific set of color codes, okay, to follow along with your own colors. But right now, I'm just picking up some colors which are already available there, so that I don't have that extra activity to do here. Okay. So let me just add a title now. So I will go to text box and add a title. So this is a text box. I clicked on text box on the top here and I can add a title. So I wanted to name my project, this particular report as a project progress dashboard. I've added a title and I can make it bold and I can minimize this section like this. I can drag this and keep it somewhere here. Okay. And I wanted to keep this, the text on the highest side, be on the 24 side. Maybe I will expand a bit better. Okay. And I wanted to turn off the background. Okay. This is a background. You can click on the properties on the right side, format, while selecting the same, text box. And you can see there's a background. I wanted to turn off this background. Yeah. So that you can see only the text part. And I want to change the color. Okay. You can go to this. Maybe I wanted to change the color to something on this. I think maybe I can make it a bit more brighter, maybe on this light orange. This, okay, fine. I think this is okay. Let me keep it this here somewhere. Okay. Because I wanted to add some logo here. Yeah. Project progress dashboard. Okay. So now I wanted to have my visuals on the canvas area. So maybe I wanted to add some cards. Okay. So recently there's a new card come in. So let's try to use that. This was just last month, I guess. This card new, as you can see. This was the card old. This is a card 123. But this is a new one. So this has got a bit easier process for us to do it quickly. So basically I wanted to add something here. Let's see. Before I add it, let me wanted to add the project cost, maybe for different departments. Okay, project cost for we know the departments are four, right? Go back to the departments and see the data. I think data is loading. Yeah, you can see the data departments. We have got four departments. So maybe I wanted to add four sections, like four metrics for the like e-commerce total cost, marketing total cost, or PR total cost. Maybe can add that, or maybe you have breakup for whatever it is. Maybe you have different project type as well. Maybe for IT, how much cost it has been incurred, or marketing, how much cost it has incurred. So you can play around. Maybe let us speak with the project type. For IT, what is the total project cost? For marketing, what is the total project cost? Okay. So let me add the old card because the new card requires a lot of measures to be added. So let us keep it simple. I'll add a card and I'll show you how easily we can do here. So I wanted to show the project cost. Okay. So what you're seeing here is a total project cost for all the records, right? But I'm more specific to look at the value only for project type that we just discussed. Right? Maybe I wanted to drag this project type in the filters area. There's a filters pane. If you look at this closely, the filters pane. So here this filters pane can be added some filter to this visual, filters on this visual. Okay. If you can see, this is basically showing filters on this visual. You can select this visual, add a project type. Okay. So once I've added here, you can see all those project types coming up here, right? So maybe I wanted to keep this for IT. So I can filter only for IT. So now it's showing project type is IT. The project cost that is showing is for only IT. Okay. So now what I can do is I can keep it here. Control C, Control V. I'm just copy pasting. And the same way you got the project type, another filter. So I don't want this for IT. Maybe I want this for marketing. Okay, you can see this is another number that is filtering based upon the selection. So I can just again copy paste again that, again paste it here. Instead of IT, I'll change it to media. I'll remove IT. This is for media. Yes. And this is for mobile app. Okay. Sorry. I'll uncheck this. So basically, without writing DAX, I'm able to get the project costs individually for individual project type. This can be done using DAX easily. Okay. This is the right way to do, but just for the demonstration purpose, because I'm going to show the other dashboard, which we will be use a bit of DAX. And here I wanted to show it that you can still build a report without usage of much of DAX, so that the people who are starting off with Power BI can feel more confident, right? So let me just make these aligned. So I can make this. I can do the formatting. Maybe I'll go to category label and call out value. Maybe decrease the size of this text. It's too much in size. Maybe I can make it somewhere 28 size. Yeah, maybe I'll keep it 28. And the category label should be fine. Okay, but I have to rename this. I can double click on, I'll just show you. So select this one, go to this format visual and double click on this, and you can rename this name. So some more project code is showing, right? You can rename as this is IT project cost. IT cost maybe, right? This is IT cost. It's showing the value showing for IT cost. This is showing for marketing costs, right? This is showing for media costs. And this is showing for mobile app cost. Okay. So now I'm going to expand this a bit. And I'm trying to go to the call out value and trying to just align it. Maybe text wrap, source, display units. All right. Okay. It's all good. Okay, fine. Okay. So, okay, fine. Let's keep it here this way. Okay. So I'm going to keep it very simple. Okay, I'm going to keep it this simple. And because I've already done some formatting on top of this, I wanted to replicate the same thing to other visuals. I can do it by using a format painter. The easy way to do is click on this format painter and just do the same thing here. That will apply to the other visual, the same font size and the same structure. It will automatically reduce. One more thing I wanted to do is I wanted to change the color to the same orange that we have used. Okay, I think I did this one. Okay, because I'm going to turn this off. Maybe I wanted to keep the text on the white side, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the background. Okay, as you can see, turn off the background, and also I will go back here. I'll just make the category label bold. Okay, IT cost is now bold. Okay. Now as you can see, I just select this one, click on format printer, I'll apply the same thing to here. Right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this all here. I'm going to add a placeholder, like similar to this same thing I've done, right? I wanted to insert some shape here. Maybe I wanted to have a shape which is in rounded rectangle. Sorry. To select this, yeah, this one. So I wanted to use this rounded rectangle shape. So I wanted to make sure this is taking equal distribution. Okay. So I will copy paste 4 visuals. So before I do that, I wanted to format this. Maybe I wanted to keep it a bit aligned. Maybe I wanted to keep it a different color. I'll just go back and I'll just change the color. I'll keep it some lighter note. Yeah, maybe this matching color just to make sure. Yeah. In fact, I can do this color. I don't like this. Maybe I will make it a bit darker. And I'll just go to this view format, send backward. Okay. So once it goes backward to select this format. Okay. Okay, I want to keep this. Okay. Let me just arrange it properly. Okay. Somehow I wanted to send to back. Now it is coming up. Okay. This is how I wanted to align. I want to make sure this placement is right. So before I align, I wanted to just take some time here. Keep it here. Copy paste it here. I just paste it here. I mean, keep it here. So you can just make sure the size of this is aligning. So for that, what you have to do is you have to go and check this canvas settings and understand what is the width. So by default, it's 1280 pixels, right? So you need to basically divide, calculate, I'll just show you. Basically, you have to divide 1280 divided by 4, right? Should ideally get a 320. So even if you give some spaces, right, 300 each should be the width of this. So go and select this and go to general and see the properties. So the width is too high. So maybe you can take it as a 310, right? Maybe 310 is the right one. So just delete this. I'll just copy this 310 and I'll paste it here, right? I'll copy all this. Okay. So in fact, I can select all of them and I can change it to 300. Then it is because we need some spaces, proper spaces, right? In fact, you can also use one more option here to align, distribute horizontally at equal spaces. Okay. I think now we were able to align it properly. Now I wanted to arrange this here because I wanted to get some icon here. So I wanted to get some image here, which identifies with IT costs. Okay. The same way you can arrange this, right? Keep it here. Okay, I think we need to push all of them to back, send it to back. Now I can select, can show that. Okay. So now you can just align so that all these are aligned. Okay. So in order to make sure all these boxes are in the same height and same, you can always go to this properties general and see what is the height, what is the position, right? What is the position from x-axis, what is the position vertically. As you can see, can select this. It's showing the position is 437, vertical 117, right? Just select the same thing and do that. Okay. So we're not going to much deeper here. So I'm going to get an images later. I'll show you how to get the images for logo and all those things later. So I'm going to add something here below, a graph maybe. Okay. I wanted to add a graph. So also I wanted to reduce this because this I think is too much in height. Okay. So now let us add some graphs. So let's say I wanted to add a cluster bar chart. Okay. I wanted to show something here. I want to add a visual. Let me add a pie chart visual here. And maybe I wanted to keep it simple pie chart showing the project status there. Let me add a status legend and let me add the number of projects. Like what is the status? Like how many are completed? How many projects are in progress? So I wanted to just add the project name that will automatically take the aggregation of count. So I wanted to count the number of projects which are in progress, in incompleted, incompleted status and not started. And let me copy paste this and I wanted to add another visual here. Maybe I wanted to add a bar graph. Maybe I wanted to show the phase wise. Instead of status, I'll remove the status and add a phase wise completion percentage. Okay. So I wanted to add a page wise completion percentage. Maybe the average. I wanted to show the average completion rate. Okay. So the values that you see is in 0.2, 0.4 is because if you look at the data, yeah, the values are in 0.29, 0.97. So you need to convert them into percentage by selecting this column and clicking on this percentage symbol like this. So automatically that will be converted into percentage. Maybe you can remove the decimals. So you're getting 0.00, right? Instead of 2 decimals, I can keep it to 0 decimals. Okay. So now you go back, automatically you see the percentage showing up here. Okay. So if you wanted to see the percentages also, then you can go to the formatting options and see the data labels. So it will show you the 53, 49, whatever the percentage is. Okay. So, and again, I wanted to add, want to fill up the other spaces. Maybe I wanted to add a gauge. So we have a gauge visually here. Just Control Z. I wanted to click on the empty space here and then select this gauge because when I select on top of that, it will be converted. The previous graph would be converted. I wanted to add a gauge here. So I want to show again the same completion percentage, the average completion percentage. Okay. Average completion percentage maybe for a specific thing, maybe the completed ones. For example, we have this status, right? Completed. So let me add a status filter here on this visual and select only the completed. So this is showing me 52%. That means the completion percentage of the completed ones are 52%. So I can rename it as overall completion. Overall completion 52%. Just copy paste this one and I will convert. So basically overall completion is 52%, in progress completion rate is 50%. So in fact, you can mention as rate or percentage, whatever. So that gives you meaningful information. Okay. So now I wanted to fill the below space as well with some other table. Let me copy paste this visual. I'm just copy pasting this visual and trying to arrange it here. Some equal alignment. Okay. Maybe I wanted to keep it a bigger table. So I wanted to convert this into a table. Okay. So I wanted to add whatever I wanted to show. Maybe I wanted to show the project name, right? As my first project name. Maybe project description. I think it is too long. You can remove that. Project name, project start date. We have a start date here. Maybe we'll convert this into only the date format instead of showing year, quarter, month separately. Just click on this drop down and click on the dates. Select the date. Here, start date. So now I wanted to add end date here. Again, after adding the end date, I'm going to select the drop down and select this end date only instead of data hierarchy. And we'll get only the start date, end date, what is the phase, what is the average completion rate, what is the project type. You can add it here. Project type, what is the department, right? So you can add a lot of information. Maybe what is the project cost, which is the main requirement. Right? Maybe I wanted to see what is the project cost, right? Maybe I can remove the phase to make sure, because my criteria, my project cost is important. So I'll just mention it as project cost. Okay. And average completion. Okay. All right. So maybe I can add another visual, small visual here. I'll just copy paste this pie chart. I'll just get it here and just convert this pie chart into some other chart, maybe column chart. And instead of the same data or same mapping, I don't want to show the status. Instead of that, maybe I wanted to show year wise projects, or year wise project cost, or year wise benefit, project benefit. We have not shown, right? Project benefit we have, right? Where is that? Project cost, project benefit. Yeah. So what we are seeing here is project benefit. So here is project benefit. Okay. So we're done. Now we need to just format these visuals, make sure them align with our requirement. So let me just quickly do that. I'll just go to the formatting sections. I'll play around with this stuff. First, I'll go to the background, effects, change the background color to something like that. Okay, so that it is okay. It's not shrink. Maybe we'll add a visual border, which is again in the white color, right? And I'll have some corners to it, maybe 15 rounded corners. And I will also change the text of the title to white, right? You can see the title is in text is white. You can change the name, say number of projects white status, and I'll delete the other one. We'll go back to the visual. I'll go to the details, values, white, right? I can change the values that I wanted to show. I don't want to show all the percentage and values. So maybe I wanted to only show category. Can only show the percentage category, or maybe the data value. Yeah. And anyways, you have the slices showing up there, right? So the legends, which are the text, again, I wanted to change it to white in color. Okay. So maybe I wanted to minimize this so that they're fitting in here. Let me just click on Format Painter and click on this. A bit of formatting is already shifted to here, right? So again, I still see this title, I mean, these x-axis labels and y-axis labels are not in white color, which I wanted to change it. Okay. X-axis, I'll just change. Sorry. Okay. Maybe I wanted to, I think this is cool. Let me just check how it is looking. Okay, fine. And the same formatting I'll apply to the other ones. Right. Maybe for a bit of attractiveness, I wanted to change this blue color to orange, maybe. Right. Yeah. Now I wanted to do the same formatting here and see how it looks. Okay. So here I can change this, this table formats. Like we have some presets. We can keep it minimal, or So basically, it is looking for a white text. So I wanted to change the color of all this text color to white so that you can see the values over there. Yes. Background is fine. Content text is white. You can see it. Right. At the same time, I wanted to do it for labels, headers. Yes. Right. So I want to make it bold so that these are aligned properly. Okay. Some more grid color also I wanted to show it as white. Vertical grid lines, if you wanted to order, turn it on, you can turn it on. You can turn it off, turn it off. So yeah. And the same formatting I'll be applying it to this. Okay. So now make sure you add a proper title. Let's say I would want this uh, year-wise project benefits. Okay. So now you are able to see a good looking visual. I wanted to add some images here. Like I wanted to add IT costs. So for getting images, or one more thing I forgot to add is the slices. I wanted to add some slices, right? So let me add a slicer here. Okay. Wanted to add a slicer. Maybe I wanted to add a status completed in progress. So I can go to the formatting option, slicer settings. Instead of vertical list, I can get to drop down or tile, sorry, tile, and make it look like this. Tile. Minimum. Right. So I'll try to use the same formatting option and see what will happen to this. Sorry. I didn't mean to add to that. However, it is looking good. Okay. I didn't mean to add to that, but let it be. Let me put it in center. Okay, fine. So actually I wanted to click on this and click on format painter and click on this part. Okay. Okay, so this is how it's coming. Just here. So now instead of this white color, I wanted to have something else here. Slicer header, slicer settings. So basically the white color, the background color, I think this is we can go with this. Okay, it's not again. I think this background values. I think this is the background that we want to change it. That background. So the font color can be white so that it gets elevated. Yes. So now you can see we have this clear cut. And again, you wanted to make sure you have a minimum space because I'm going to add another copy paste, another slicer here by adding year instead of status. Right. So now you have a full fledged Power BI report. So now all you need to add is a logo. Okay. I can reduce the text a bit so that takes a proper space here. So now I'm going to add images. First thing I want to add is a logo. Let me just get insert image. So I can directly import an image, basically, as a logo. And just go to downloads and just search for logo. Just had a white logo. Sorry. Think I need to get a different logo. Let me do this quickly. Horizontal. Just click on large icons. So actually I'm looking for something. Okay. Somehow the logo that I need, let me add this one. But actual logo is not coming up here. Just quickly get that from else. So now you can see that I've added a logo successfully. and you can add some more images. So you have to go to a website called flaticon.com. So this will give you the free icons. So maybe I wanted to get some IT related icons. So because I wanted to add IT costs, something related to IT, maybe I wanted to pick something like this. This guy is IT cost, free download. I'll select this one. Next one is marketing, media, mobile. Okay, let's go to marketing. Maybe I wanted to show this as marketing. As for media, maybe I go to Facebook, maybe media, mobile. Yeah, I got 4 icons. Now all you need to do is go back to your Power BI desktop, click on image, go to downloads. First one is IT, just pick up the IT. So similarly, you can pull in other images. Just click on image and just select them. So as you can see, finally we are able to create a proper report. So I suggest everyone to just go and watch very slowly because you are doing it for the first time. It might take some time for you to come up with this output. So congratulations everyone if you are able to finish this off. And I want to see everybody's output in the below comment section. Maybe you just take a screenshot and just post it back to another video. In this video, we're going to understand what exactly is step 6. So finally, we have built a wonderful report. So now we have to share that report with the end users, right? So how do you share the report? So we need to put it in a cloud space where everybody can access or the authorized person can access, provided we have to share the report with specific user. So unless or until you won't give access to the specific user, they won't be able to access the report. So that is called as a publishing the report or sharing with others, step 6. So basically we'll be sharing this report to multiple users depending on their access. So first thing what we will do is we kind of publish the report to Power BI service, and then a basic overview of how we maintain the reports on cloud and how do we share the report. Okay, I'll just give you a quick demo of the same thing. So let me open the report that we just built it. As you can see, this is a report that we have built. Now I wanted to put this report onto the cloud. Okay. So basically, what exactly is the cloud? There is a space called app.powerbi.com. Let me just open that. If I go to the browser and open app.powerbi.com, this is a standard URL, app.powerbi.com. So if you have access to this particular cloud, you'll be able to log in with your ID and password. Since I've already logged in, it is directly taking me to the respective portal. So as you can see, this is showing me the path. So basically, on the left side, if you can look at, there is something called workspaces. So these are the workspaces, which is kind of a folder-like structure where we hold all the reports or data sets or different things, different elements of the Power BI together. Okay. So let's say if I wanted to push our report here on the cloud, let's have this 01 data explorer startup. So this is one of the folder. Okay. So let me push that report here. Let's say I wanted to publish that report here. Okay. I think there's already one. So let me show you how to create a workspace. Let us do one thing. Let's publish the report to a new workspace. So I'll just create a new workspace. I'll say demo. Maybe I'll say Power BI blueprint. Right. This name is available. You can add some description. Right. You can leave this as it is blank. These are the default options. I'm leaving it. Click on apply. So automatically, once you do that, a new workspace is created and you can see that workspace showing up here. Okay. So now I want to put my report here. I wanted to publish my report here. Let me go back to Power BI desktop. And there is an option called publish here on the top. Yeah. So before you click on this, you have to make sure you are logged in. Let's say I can show you here. I've logged in already with my ID called admin@santoshpotnak.com. Okay. So I'm able to log in using my ID onto this portal. So I'm able to move forward on clicking the publish. Otherwise, it will ask you to save the report and then log in. I mean, you need to sign in to the portal, Microsoft portal. Since I've logged in and I've signed in, you can see the one which we just created, Power BI Blueprint Workspace. This is showing up here. So let me publish this report, project progress dashboard, to this particular workspace. As you can see, once we published it here, it is showing the success message, and it also giving you the direct link. So I don't want to open that. I wanted to go back to the service. So as you can see, it is showing up the latest recently published report here, and I can click on the this particular report. You can see there are type report and type dataset. So whenever you publish a report, there are two things which will be published there. One is report and the other one is dataset. So dataset is kind of a linked to report. So whenever you publish a report, automatically the dataset will be published. So let me just click on this report and just see if my report is published properly or not. You can see the same report which we were seeing on the Power BI desktop is now on the cloud. You can see this is a URL sharing up. Let me just remove this warning. So as you can see, it's taking a bit time. It's loading. Yeah. So now you can see the same report, whatever we built on the Power BI desktop, now it is showing on the cloud. So once it is on the cloud, we can actually share this report with any users. Okay. So let's say I'll just quickly show you how to share a report with the user. Well, so as you can see this share button here on the top. So when I click on the share button, you can actually share this report with any of the employee from the organization. Maybe let's say I have someone who is with some ID called training. Okay, so let me just search for it, training. So basically I can select that, I can search with that particular email address, and the email address will show up, and then I can add it and then click on send. Okay. Automatically the report will be shared with the person. Okay, so there are a lot of other layers to it, like security, like how you should be able to access. We'll have the complete control, or so all that will be seen in the other other sessions. But here we'll keep it simple, like how do we publish the report to the cloud, and this is where the step 6 lies in. So there are a lot of things here. We need to create a lot of workspaces, a lot of gateways we can create. So Power BI licensing, basically there are three types of license. I mean, yeah, three types of licenses if you leave the free one aside. But yeah, basically everybody can have access to the free license. So the difference between the license and having a free Power BI license ID is something you cannot share any of your report with any other person. So you will be having your own workspace. You can create your own stuff, and you can keep it with you on the same cloud. So you will be able to access to the Power BI service that we just saw, right? app.powerbi.com. So you'll be able to access to that link, but you will not be able to share your report from your workspace to anybody who's outside or within your organization. So the moment the sharing option comes, that's where your pro license comes into picture. Okay. And then there's something called PPU, and then something called PPC. Okay. So let me just quickly go show you the pricing and the details of these licenses. As you can see, basically this is showing up 4 different options. One is $10 per month. The other one is PPU, and the other one is PPC, which is Power BI premium per user, premium per capacity. So premium per user, premium per capacity is like, is a premium license with a lot of features. Premium per user is something which is limited to a user, and premium per capacity is it's like a whole workspace, whole level of auto scaling, or whole level of, the capacity has been given to you. So you can see the features that are being offered with these 3 licenses. So we're not deep diving into this licensing, which is covered in the next session. The idea of the blueprint course is to give you the high level idea so that you understand, okay, this is how the entire architect or the workflow lies within Power BI. So I'll give you just a rough idea. Like you can see, the regular pro license has got 1 GB of space, whereas premium per user has got 100 GB, whereas premium per capacity got 400 GB. And there's a major difference is like 8 times you can refresh this. Using the pro license, you can refresh a report on the cloud 8 times per day, whereas other things you can refresh 48 times per day. That is almost like every half an hour. So there are a lot of other features added to it. We're not going deeper into that. So I think we can close this session. Thank you so much for watching. I suggest please go through the next video, which will guide you on the next step. It will also help you out booking a slot with me, free one-to-one clarity session. Thank you.